All right, G Money in the house, baby.
JWorldwide
in the house, baby. In the flesh.
How you?
I'm doing great. It's my first podcast with you.
Right.
Looking forward to this.
Crazy.
I'm honored.
I'm honored. Shoot.
How does this work, man?
So I mean, I just get
I've
a little
never
bit
done a
closer.
podcast.
Yeah, get a little bit closer to the mic, so then they can hear you good. You know, people in the back.
You hear me?
Yeah, there you go.
All right. Everyone hear me in the world?
Yeah, buddy.
All right. Just trying to get used to this.
Same here.
Okay. Where's the camera? I'm used to doing this.
Camera's right in front of you, right there.
Oh, there he is.
Or if not, cameras.
There's
right
another
here.
one.
Yeah.
All over the place around here. I like your setup, G.
Wouldn't have done it
Pretty
without
nice. All right, it's birthing into some type of media hub spot. I'm looking forward to what more you're gonna put in here. I'm excited to be here, G.
I'm excited too. First and foremost, thank you for taking the time out of your day on your day off to come over here and podcast and just vibe and enjoy and make a show with me. I'm more honored than you are, to be quite honest with you, because the fact that we started this dream 2 years ago, 3, we were talking about this. We're just like,
the bad boy's been on simmer for a minute, huh?
Yeah, we were just meditating and deciding is this how we're gonna go about this. We started off with just thinking this is just a mic, this is 2 mics, or just a table, or just in the downstairs, and we're like, nah, we gotta go full power. And I think it's only right that the first person I interview is you, because the fact that the first question I have for you is that what made you say yes?
Oh, we jumping in already?
Oh yeah, I had to.
We're no more foreplay, huh? We jumping right in. Okay.
Oh yeah.
What made me say yes? I mean, why should I say no? I mean, every single day is an opportunity. I mean, it's never about myself. It's always about how can I fulfill somebody else's dream and aspirations. And when you ask me, no hesitancy on my part. I'm just like, let's go, G. And again, I only go as fast or slow the speed on you. So when I say yes, I don't want to impose, because I know people have their own things going on too. But when you were serious and you were getting things, the momentum was going, I'm like, all right, I got to match you. I can't let you down. So yeah, it's been an incubation for 2 years now. And I knew you were doing your thing with school. And like I said, I'm very proud of what you're doing. So, hey,
thank you.
Not to impose. I just want to, I would be ready when you're ready. And that's going to be with everybody else too. And that's kind of the manifestation why I said yes. So you can kind of help pave the way to show others what this podcast is going to be about in different industries and with different peoples. And I'm just kind of like the guy that's just providing a platform for everybody's stories. That's it.
Yeah. I think what this journey has taught me the most is that the world, and I think you'll agree with me, is that not just the world, life, man upstairs, like you like to say, puts people in your life at the perfect time, perfect divine timing. Because at random, the fact that I live an hour away from here, and there's clearly hundreds, probably maybe 1,000 of just Nutri shops or Max Muscles or whatnot. And I decided to come here, and something gravitated and pulled me here, and it was you. Because anyone can order stuff online, right? But it's meeting you, meeting the staff, meeting everybody, and talking to everybody, and just vibing and noticing that first, I'm not getting my money robbed, because that's a big fear that we all have when we're first walking in, or if you're new to the fitness industry like I was, you're like, oh shit, hopefully they won't try to upsell me or sell me some shit that I don't need just to make a big buck. But then you sat there with me and just said, so what you doing with your life? How are you today? What are you working towards? And that flipping threw me off, because the misconception, or I guess the veil of ignorance, when you walk in and you're like, oh, he's probably going to just treat me like some random person. But no, you treated me like a person and not a random ass person. There's a big difference between that. We say that so fluid, so loosely, but when you treat someone like a person instead of some random ass person, that makes a big difference. And I feel that, and everyone notices that when they come to the store, they see oh, you're coming for J. You're coming for that vibe. You're coming to like either A, express yourself, B, get some therapy or some wisdom from you, because you have like infinite amount of wisdom just flowing and channeling through you that like I swear like probably in your past life you're some sort of like channel or something, bro, because you just sometimes some things that you say just, well, not just sometimes, a lot of things that you say just give me chills, and I'm just like, damn. And it makes you like, and it's not one of those chills of like, oh shit, like they go away after like an hour or two. No, like when you're trying to go to sleep, you're still like feeling that force. You're like, damn.
Hey, thank you, G. Hey, first of all, thank you for, I mean, those are such kind words. And like I said,
I'm telling you, I'm going full power.
I don't even know where to start. I mean, okay. This is a spiritual show, where it comes from. Gosh, I don't even know where to start. But it's
how it started. How it all started.
It's genuine. I mean, you know, the idea of God's plan, I figure, was I was put here and given the ability of a platform to do what I do. And either you can just be a salesperson in supplements and nutrition, whatever, there's nothing wrong with that. Or you can use this platform to springboard you into something bigger. And that mindset of, you know, I opened a store, which is great in most everybody's minds, but what do you want to build? I mean, you can build an empire in supplementation and nutrition and be totally fine with that. But the idea is, if I'm going to leave this earth and I want to squeeze the potential of what my true calling is, the idea is to build people, one person at a time. For example, Gerardo. And if my superpower is to, you know, I have a big mouth, so I'm able to go on and on. But the idea is, what I do know is I was given the chance to learn just like you, but everything that brought me here today was all the people that took time to help me and educate myself, including my employees. Yeah. I'm putting everybody on my back with everything I learned, and I'm just kind of I'm regurgitating everything, the knowledge that they provided me. So I mean, I'm not born with this. I just knew that the universe needs somebody to propel people like yourself, and I can be the vision and be like, I believe in you, where sometimes other people don't get that reaffirmation from the significant others, their parents, or they're just kind of lost. And that's my superpower. Gerardo, you got infinite potential. The atmosphere is limitless to you. And that's what I do. And I can sell supplements, or I can sell the dream for you. Okay. And if you don't have the vision, let me be the vision for you. Just say you can. And that's what I'm all about in my neighborhood, in my community. But if I could create that culture, and if I could create that spirit where you can take a little bit of me with you, and you can teach the next, and then I can be okay to move on somewhere else and start all over again. Yeah. And I feel in my generation, that's what I'm meant to do, and I'm going to squeeze everything I can of myself to lay on to others who may need it. And next thing you know, I just want you to become better than me and do it your own original way. Yeah. I do it my own original way. All I say is principles. I don't preach. You know, I preach the word of nutrition, but I'm preaching principles from the divine laws from upstairs. Yeah.
Damn. See, I'm already getting those chills I was just talking about. That's crazy.
I'm easy to figure out once you get to know me, especially for the first time. Mm-hmm. And consistency of character is key. I'm not, you know, I do my job here, but I do my job at home consistently, as far as like respect and honor and taking care of my people, my family, just like here at the store. You guys, you know, the customers are friends first, but then when they reach out for other things, hey, no expectations from me. I'll do everything I can to help. Yeah. I'll just throw it out there. I'm no messiah or anything, but my availability for help is 24/7, 365. That's me. That's the worldwide culture I'm trying to provide and trying to instill.
Yeah.
And the idea is, if there needs to be somewhat of a physical role model where, let's say, a father brings a child in, and he sees somebody that does it right, in terms of business and also a gentleman. I kind of want to be that guy at the dinner table where he can tell the child, hey, that guy right there you just saw for the first time, do you remember him? And kid be like, yeah, that's a good guy. I mean, that's all I want. I want to be kind of a role model where people can be like, hey, that's the way to do it. I'm not trying to propose, hey, I'm anything, but I just want to be someone like, hey, I don't judge people. I don't care if you come in rich, poor, black, white, any culture, handicaps. It don't matter. My motto, and always will be, is everybody deserves 100% customer care, as opposed to customer service. Service, here's a transaction, here you go, nice to meet you. Care is like, I actually care. I care about you. I care about, where your vision and where your goals are. I mean, alone fitness and nutrition, but what do you want to do? What's your aspirations in life? Can I help you in that? So, yeah, transaction of building people.
It's building a community as well. I think it's more like San Mateo. I didn't realize. I learned this through you. San Mateo and South Bay and not South Bay. South SF. A lot of, if I'm correct, there wasn't really a community, and this is more like a home base. Like, everyone may not know each other. Maybe they'll cross paths at the gym. They'll cross paths at work because they all live, because of the concentration of everyone being so many people in a small space. It might look like San Francisco Bay Area is really big, but really it's not. You can, if there is no traffic, you can go all the way from San Francisco to San Jose, South Bay, and back probably within an hour if you're driving a V8 maybe. But what I'm trying to say with that is that everyone knows Jay, though. Everyone has that common denominator of, like, everyone knows Max Muscle, or they know San Mateo Sports Nutrition. They know JWorldwide, which leads me to my next thing, is like how JWorldwide and everything that you've done and still are going to do before I talk about the future, I want to talk about the past. There's people not above me, but like before my generation in fitness or whatnot, or because I'm new to the game. Like, I'm not going to be completely honest. I'm new to the game here in fitness in the Bay Area. I don't really know each other. I don't know everybody. I didn't know the past generations. I didn't know that people knew each other, all this and that. I didn't know it was a small community. But those people were inspired by you. And now this new generation, new fresh blood has come to rise, and now it's like there's a new generation in town, and they're coming here now, and they're like, who is Jay? And it's like, I see it now. I see how you've, even in the past, what you did in the past, the consistent effort, the consistent dedication, the consistent love and vibe that you give came back tenfold. Because 2 generations later, younger generations are coming in because the older generation told them, come to this Nutri Shop, come to this nutrition center. San Mateo Sports Nutrition. Still gotta get that down. But they say that, and that's like the best, not even publicity, it's just the best kind of like reference, like when people need somebody or need something, like who do you go to? People you trust, and they say, Jay's my man. That's where you need to go. That's it. Period.
Hey, G, I just want to say you're a great interviewer, by the way. I mean, like I say, just a couple more repetitions of this, you're gonna be the freaking awesome interviewer in your own little spiritual thing. And I'm kind of getting chills. I mean, you ask quality, great questions, and if they're not softball questions where I'm kind of like, where do I even start?
I feel like anyone else can interview you, to be quite honest with you, or anyone else who comes to this table can get interviewed, like by their friends or something, and get an interview. This is not an interview, it's a podcast, but not just any single podcast. Everyone, if you go online, there's so many podcasts out there.
Yeah.
And it's like, what do you find? You want to find quality over quantity. I don't care if they have 100 freaking episodes and they post every day. If each episode is just like talking about random stuff that like just kills time, I'm like, that's me. There's people who like that, and no disrespect if people like that, but I'm really not tedious. I'm really strict with my time, and so I want to make sure if I'm listening to somebody or something, it has to be quality stuff that I'm gonna feel like, okay, that was a good episode that I listened to. And that's what I want to provide people. I want people to come back and be like, damn, that one episode that you did with Jay, woo, man, years later, I remember that, you know?
I mean,
this is the journey. This is the first episode.
Hey, you can just talk and I'm just listening.
No. It's not about me. It's me interviewing.
I want to interview you, but
that's where it's going to be for another episode, because right now it's about you, and right now it's about JWorldwide.
You know,
I see the world right there. And in case you don't know, this is also a video podcast. So in case you're listening, you can always go on YouTube or any other media that we posted on. But currently this is a video and audio podcast, so not just what you listen to. Is if you wanted to see the vibes, you gotta see the interaction, you can see it online as well. So we got that going for you guys as well.
I guess I have to regurgitate from the beginning, from your earlier question, from your first question. Is where did Worldwide come from, and where it's going, and the whole spirit of it all is it's always and will be for the community, for the people, period. And really that's what I was taught. I mean, that's what I follow. It's never about myself. This whole get up, this whole Worldwide.
I got you right here. I got the
Sports Nutrition
San Mateo shirt today. I was like, what am I gonna wear for the first episode? I gotta wear Jay's. I gotta rep.
Thank you. I thank you. Blessed. It's a get up. It's a character, but the people will remember when you understand business. You know, the vision that I have, which we'll talk about in a few, it has to have some type of strategy. And this business strategy was manifested by my wife. She was the one who created this whole thing, this Worldwide. And it goes back about 2.5 years ago when I used to do these live raffle shows. And I'm gonna bring these raffle shows back. Oof. And the gist of it was, it was a raffle show for supplements, and then I got the community, as far as small businesses, to participate. So I would outreach and say, hey, would you be willing to participate and maybe donate some gift cards, whatnot, so I can give to as prizes. And so it started off with that, and then the idea of building what became this was just, how can I one up my last show? It started to be about a show, but it started to be about more than a show, because when you bring the community and you bring people and you bring people that never been on camera and you witness that, wow, that was a great show that they never would put themselves into. So the wheels started turning for me. And it started to manifest into, okay, it wasn't about myself as a store giving prizes. It was about changing people into being like, hey, you never been on camera. Let me produce something to where I'm going to put you in the light to speak and to act, but I'm not going to make a fool of yourself. Yeah. And so the memory of seeing themselves played back, if they want to show, let's say, their kids or grandkids in the future, that's what memories are for. You want to showcase, hey, that was me, like when I was back in the day when I was with Jason, and now I'm doing my thing, because he gave me the platform, he gave me the opportunity to showcase a talent which I didn't know I have, but Jason knew that he was not going to put me in a position to fail or embarrass myself. But you know what? That's what this podcast is all about. Yeah. To stimulate maybe some imagination or a dream, like, hey, I actually sound pretty good, I look okay, and then let's just see how this far goes. Bottom line, if you are going to start a business, you have to be a marketer first. Regardless of the era of time you're in, like in the 80s and 90s, I didn't have social media. We just had newspapers, billboards, TV. We didn't have this. But in 10, 20 years, whatever is trending, whether if it's AR, VR, guess who's gonna be in it? Buy them. I go where it's hot, but because my vision is right now, I'm just starting out. Yeah. I'm just literally trying to build out the infrastructure foundation meaning like I'm building people like yourself. So if I have enough of you times 10, 15, 20, you know, the history shows you, and you probably know, like, remember the movie 300 by the Romans?
Oh, yeah.
So 300 is kind of like the culmination, that's a community. That's a standard community.
Yeah.
So if you get 300 people within a certain community, like say San Francisco, Chinatown, there's so many of them, you got a culture.
Yes.
You know, Italian town, you know, Puerto Ricans in Miami, regardless. So if I have enough of my 300 of my JWorldwide people, and they're spread out within the community and the gyms, whatnot, I have been lately, within the last 2 years, every person that I have kind of somewhat of a connection to, you know, I take them in. I'm like, here, I'm my little disciple. I teach them a little bit about like what my belief, principles, morals, values of what I want to propose on you. And then you start breathing it, thinking it, doing it, acting upon it. Okay. And so my bottom line is, when you go to the gym, for example, I would say, hey, if you're gonna wear that shirt, let me just give you a little, when you open up a package, there's like directions.
Yeah.
No, my directions and objectives are like, hey, warning, don't put this brand in the wrong light. Meaning, when you put that San Mateo Sports Nutrition shirt on, or whatever, worldwide, it's like putting on a cape. You can pretend to be somebody like Gerardo version 2.
Yeah.
Right? So what I would say is, hey, if you've always been stuck with the image that you're trying to escape from, like maybe you were in the past reluctant to speak in front of crowds, maybe you were bullied, maybe you just have this handicap, but nobody knows that but you, because history sometimes for some people cannot escape from. And again, here's where I come in, put that shirt on. That's why kids like to dress up for Halloween, right? You know, because they're another identity, they're another character.
Well, I don't think it's just a Halloween thing. It's like even in everyday life we do that. Like if I'm gonna be like, if I gotta dress up for work, let's say I'm a professor, or if I am a police officer, or if I'm a lawyer, if I'm a X, Y, and Z, I still have to dress into the character that or wear the mask, as the Japanese say, the mask of what I'm gonna give in public.
Yeah, it's a simple mind hack, because some people are just, that's a pretty obvious occupation. When you put on a suit, you're getting paid, you're in the line. But a simple hack, let's say you put that shirt on, you go to the gym, you're like, oh shit, okay, let me just put my best foot forward, version of the worldwide, which is like, you could, and I'll run this by you. For example, if you really want to start with a new image and you're just trying to like break away from the old and start with the new, and you just like all of a sudden just like, okay, today is the day. Yeah. One of the principles I would say is just, on a scratch piece of paper, write down 4 things about what you want to be better at or known at till the day you die. Like, for example, I want to be, for example, I'll use mine in the beginning, years ago. I just said, hey, I want to be kind with people and friendly, right? That's kind of like, it's an everyday thing, every single day. The minute I wake up to the day, till the minute I go to bed. Kindness and friendliness, right? Pretty self-explanatory. That's 2. So 3 and 4 would be like, I want to become a better listener, right? But you can't be a better listener unless you're present. So those 4 things were my foundations years ago. So that's why my customer service skills were pretty much like on every person. Okay, so those 4, which birthed the evolution of video, right? When I started doing video. Yeah. So 5 and 6 came when I said to myself, hey, I want to become creative, right? And energy. Because my occupation, sports nutrition, right? Yeah. Supplements, I'm very, like I said, I'm very observant with people, and I'm a marketer. I have to create the brand. So when people walk in, I have to sell myself. I have to sell enthusiasm. I have to sell energy, because 9 out of 10 people are coming in because they're like, I'm tired, I'm crashing, I need some pre-workout for so I have to be that brand, like, what's up? Hyped, but not overdoing it. But I'm just a naturally happy, friendly, right? Yeah. Listening guy.
It's innate.
It's innate, right?
Yeah.
You're selling yourself. I'm selling the brand, energy. But I'm very creative, because creativity is everything. Creativity stimulates the ability to influence. I don't like to replicate what other people do. I don't even look to see what other brands are doing.
Yeah.
Be original. This is original. I can't stress that enough. Be who you are. Be who what the man upstairs put you to be. Is yourself.
Yep.
And if you want to mimic and get ideas from other people, that's great. I mean, just get ideas. You got to get that imagination going. But
at the
eventually,
end of the day, you got to put in the work and create your own.
Create your own. I don't care. All this was just a spur of just randomness. I wasn't trying to copy. And then your ability to communicate, the way you articulate, that call comes too. But if you line yourself up with the objectives and criteria, the characteristics that you want to become, you'll start to become that. You'll evolve into that. And it's a lot better when you have your own constitutional rules that you wrote about yourself, as opposed to following somebody else, because now you're just trying to like mimic Bad Bunny. I know you like Bad Bunny. Or mimic your boss. Or mimic, like, there's nothing wrong about mimicking your dad, but just I want you to be original. You can take what he taught you, but just become it in yours. And then I always add, be steadfast, right? I don't get too high. I don't get too low. I'm faithful. Meaning I'm not faithful. I'm faithful to my wife, but I'm faithful to my craft. I'm faithful to the logo.
Faithful to the game.
I'm faithful to the game. I'm faithful to my brand. That's called your character.
And that's the thing also, that like, just throwing it in there, like the fact that your wife is a part of that game.
Yeah.
That the game that she's playing with you, alongside you and supporting you. Yeah. That's one thing that I also admire about you. I mean, we don't give enough credit to our significant others or anything, but like the fact that every time we do talk, we talk about on mic, we talk about JWorldwide and everything. But I also want to just take a moment and mention and shout out your wife, because your wife, she's a backbone to Jay.
Yeah.
And if you ever cross paths with Jay and you ever see him like helping you out or whatnot, know the first person that made his day, this is his wife.
Can't stress it enough. My wife, she was the one who birthed this. She was the one who punched me when I was not. She was the one who got me to become who I am. Okay. And, let me just leave a good principle for those people who are in a relationship right now and or about to get married, whatnot. The number one business I always speak about is not about the four walls, like opening up a door. That is not the business. That's like the third. The first business is yourself. This is the real business. Like, you got to get to know yourself first. How do you react? Because the four walls are, again, just a direct extension of this body, the spirit, the mentality, right? Yeah. The second one is the marriage, right? Because marriage is a business, right? You got to, we got to figure things out. You got to compromise. There's always be,
You got to negotiate.
But she is my CEO. She understands my weaknesses and my strengths, but you know what? She tells me straight. Like most businesses, they need somebody to be like, do the checks and balances, make sure everything's right and wrong. They're kind of like the, what do they call it? The make sure. She's my CEO. I call her the chief executive of everything, because she puts me in place, not in a derogatory.
No, she keeps you in check.
She gets me in check.
Yeah.
And she knows the character, but she's evolving it, because I get a lot of the characteristics, like what makes her like, hey, I like that. Write that down. Okay, so my wife, I can have another talk on that. But for those of you that are going into a competition, since I'm in supplements, like a bodybuilding competition, where you're going to open up your own business, please talk to your spouse. Make sure she understands what your dream is going through at the minute. But when you're done with the show, for example, make sure you go back to her and follow up with her dreams and aspirations. Trust me, that was part of my learning experience too. She put everything on hold to fulfill my dream to open up this door. And now my dreams and aspirations now is to make sure to fulfill hers. And when you have those two symbiotic, when you have it going together as a business, it just, their mindset as far as opportunities and think big, when you have two minds, it's so much better than having one.
Yeah.
and she got your back. She's not gonna let you fall. So, yeah, make sure you take care of the spouse. Foundational rule numero uno. Always and forever.
I can't even follow up with that. That's just perfect.
And that's real talk for
that's real talk. Right, you know, that's beautiful.
20-year-olds, please understand. Even 30-year-old me. I'm speaking from the guys.
Yeah.
I had to eat dirt. I got punched in the face. Not literally, but just like I fell down. Yeah. But here's one thing about rejection. If you guys are into this right now, especially with COVID, crisis will always bring out either two things. It'll bring out the leader in you, or expose a sheep out of you, just to kind of like the true colors will come. Now, you can all change that. And sometimes you need inspiration from maybe whether it's radio, TV, or a person in front of you that kind of like, it takes that quick to be like, but nobody changes. Nobody will ever change unless they get punched in the face, like a crisis. Yeah. Death in the family, a breakup, or a threat to break up, COVID. Right? Bankruptcy, you just got let go from the job, but mentality will always be for a leader. Great. Now you get to put more emphasis on my true gift.
The flight or flight.
And that's ultimately what my mission is to do. Every person that comes through my doors or every person I happen to meet, I'm always going to breathe somewhat of like, hey, I'm more than just a supplement store. Yeah. I'm here if you need me. As far as like, let me just tap into your potential. And let me squeeze that, or let me open up that little cage to let you fly. That's it. If that's what I'm meant to do, I'd be like, all right, let's see what this guy does. And like 10 years later, you're doing your thing. And if I'm part of your story, like how you got started, I always want to be in everybody's story at the end of the day. When I'm gone, gee, how'd you get started? Oh, this guy, Jason, gave me the platform opportunity. So I live through you. That's legacy, right?
I want to go back real quick on what you just said right now, because there's something that came into my mind. And like, so that whole notion that you just gave right now, and people need to listen to this part because it's really, we say this a lot. So when you open up the cage of a bird, right, and you let them fly, when you said that, birds raised in, I read it once, and I think everyone has, but I want to say it again, because we need to hear this, is that birds raised inside of a cage think flying is wrong, or it's a sin or something, or flying is not possible. So how do you help them out? You open the cage and you slowly, little by little, let the bird come out. Okay, the little bird scared, he goes back in. Okay, little by little, bring him out, and then let him go back inside. And then once he feels ready, he's gonna know, oh snap, it's okay, I can fly. And that's one thing that I feel that resonates deeply with what we just encountered with COVID, because we're almost out of COVID, I hope. We're all opened up here in California. Everything's good to go, green light. Yet, however, a lot of us still have that fear collectively of like, oh, should I go out? Should I still do this? Should I? Because of fear. And that's one thing that the first place they're going to go is going to be like, okay, well, if I want to get back into the gym, I need to go get some supplements. I need to go get some protein. I got to get some pre-workout. Or I got to get some collagen. I got to get X, Y, and Z. And they're going to come here. And they're going to meet you. Or they're going to talk to you and be like, hey, yeah, COVID, X, Y, and Z happened. And this is my story. This is what happened. And seeing you, because I've seen you do this these past weeks as we're setting up the podcast, week by week, and just sitting downstairs, whether just chilling for a bit between doing stuff, people come in and talk and just express themselves, and you always push them to be their better self. And you're opening up that cage. That's what I'm trying to say with all this, is that you're opening up the cage and you're showing them it's okay to fly again.
Yeah. I mean, again, back to my principles. Here, I'll scoot up. Oh, my world. Check my world ass. Oh, never mind. All right. To answer your question, like I said, it is never about myself, right? Again, when people walk through the door, guard is up. The faster I can bring your guard down, the closer you have a connection. Literally in 30 seconds, I can be in your living room. Meaning like I could be in your personal space, like who are you and what you're doing. I'm like, that's like a salesman approach, but I do it in such a non-evasive way because my quality of questions, I know what I'm getting. So when you have a vision, again, it's a perspective, right? If you're programmed and conditioned from whoever trained you and taught to make a sale of like say protein or pre-workout, you're always going to have those questions to ask. Hey, what's your goal in fitness? And nothing wrong with that, But again, my purpose of having this space and platform the man upstairs gave to me. Okay, yes, I am a supplement store now today, but I'm setting myself up the vision that I have, and I'm letting the universe know right now. And just with everybody else, if you have a plan of a vision, you're going to have a scheme and strategy to ask certain questions to know who are the movers and shakers that I can recruit. So when I need to leave from here physically and have to do something else, like Gerardo, I asked you, and you rang the bell back to me with quality answers. So I'm like, okay, mental note, Gerardo. Let's see if he comes back. Bam, bam. The first few times of the same person, I just ask softball questions. I don't want to be pushy, be like, hey, I want to get to change you. I'm trying to be a messiah and try to change everybody on the spot, but I'm feeling you out. It's almost like a heat check I try to do with you. Some people are like, hey, I'm good. And that's great. Great. As long as their spirit is good, they can have that persona in front. They're good, but deep down, there's something going on. It'll be exposed eventually. Okay, and that's where I would love to jump in. So my bottom line is, like I always mention you, Gerardo, the first experience I'll meet, like you and anybody that comes in, I'm just campaigning myself. I'm campaigning, who is Jason? Who is this guy? Who is this guy behind the counter? Like, remember I always say, I have this cliche, and I'm going to throw it out there, and hundreds of you guys already know who follow me, say, Jason or Gerardo, if you want to be an influence to this community, or you want to be some popular dude, right? You have to campaign like you're campaigning for mayor. Yeah. Meaning, so if you're going to say to yourself, in 8 years, I want to campaign for San Mateo. Well, in your mind, you're going to be like, okay, every single day, I'm going to shake hands, kiss babies' foreheads, do what you got to do to make that impression. So in case you don't see that gentleman or her again, well, you left such a great impression on her. When it's 8 years down the road, they remember how genuine and trustworthy and help, whatever, all criteria of a good leader. They would honestly say, I don't know any of the candidates, but I know this one Gerardo guy. Yeah. Family, friends, posting, vote for Gerardo because he did such and such for me. And he made, a great impression on me. Okay, so that's the campaigning, that's the branding, that's a market. So first of all, I'm branding myself. That's the first hook of anything. I can't impose, I can't influence nobody unless I get trust first. You got to make yourself likable. That's the bottom line with anything, right? No, if you woke up today, we rubbed this genie right here, and all of a sudden you just got downloaded the new how to make everybody rich, how to get everybody out of whatever poverty. You just know everything downloaded, Morpheus, just boom. You can't just start posting and start going to everybody, and like everybody's like, who in the hell are you? You have to earn it, right? Yeah. Trust, right? So you got to be likable first, because if you start imposing, like, they say, those people that drive around, hey, Jesus, and, and they start saying, you're going to go to hell, right? And, people that run away from you or are just like turned off and you're irritable, you're just an irritation. Yeah. It takes twice as long for you to influence them. That's just how it is. So what better, just take the high road, don't impose, be friends, right, first, and then eventually, before they know it, you're already influencing them, and when they figure it out, it's already too late. they're going to be like, I'm glad you came into my life. And that's what I do. And one of the strong reasons why social media is so impactful, if you use it correctly, they get to see what you do on the daily. It's a TV show. You're consistent. Okay, so if you happen to have a great first impression with this person, and the new 2021 version of the Rolodex, business card is IG or Facebook or whatever,
TikTok,
TikTok, whatever. Then they're chilling at home, scrolling. You have to understand that is the most powerful tool to see if you're legit. I mean, does this guy do it for everybody? Right? Does it do it for? Here's my friend. I just saw my friend, and he just did a video with my friend, and the friend will say, "Hey, he was cool, great experience, blah blah." The more you have people speaking upon you and for you, right? That's the realness. That's the so. Me trying to impose, I am this, I am that, it only goes so far. But when you have other people saying it for you, that's the idea. That's influence. That's why I'm doing it with you. That's what I do with every single person. Got to be consistent. That is the brand. So the culture is from the minute from the day I started here, 16 freaking years ago. I've always been consistent. I've always given respect. I've always given space. I've always given the opportunity. And as I'm getting better, as far as manifesting my true, my calling, I'm starting to get better in what I do. I'm going to take this to another place. Like as far as another location, I'm going to start it over again. My dream would be, for example, let's say since we're here in San Mateo County, I want to leave here knowing that people that I've influenced, like yourself, and let's say Nico, for example, and all my exploits, they're doing the same thing. They're teaching. They whatever platform and industry they're doing, they're helping others, right? Doing this, right? Giving something, not themselves, but the other person opportunity, right?
You can see that with Nico. Like Nico's already coaching other coaches online on how to just
absolutely.
So like
that's
direct influence.
Nico, for example, he's my manager, and what I instilled in Nico is a breath of a little bit of my birthing. Like I came into myself, and I was practicing with Nico, right? Mm-hmm. It's a system. It's a system. I have a system. Meaning like, yes, I'm going to train you. Anybody can be trained. Those are just skills, right? But I give them a vision. That's, if you want to be an impact to society, if you want to become a leader of your, let's say your household, of obviously your business, or of your community, or even your country, for example, the number one cardinal rule characteristic, is a vision. That's it. Vision is everything. Because a vision, as opposed to what you see through your eyes, are two different things. Sight is what you see today, what you see in front of you, right? That's today, that's present. Your vision, like for example, shit's going down, COVID, your vision sees past that. It shows you the future. It's a Polaroid picture, an HD, of a better place for people. It's always for the people of tomorrow and the future. So when I have that mentality, and going back to Nico, my manager, I said, Nico, I have a vision for you that you're not seeing right now. And I swear he'll say the same thing before he even knows what his potential is. I'm already instilling him. Don't just settle for the neighborhood here. Settle for to become the best in the United States. That was maybe a few years ago. And then look, he's on his way. But the fact is you got to think big, as opposed, remember that cage we were talking about?
Yeah.
Right? When the moment I let you go and you start building that confidence and momentum, you just can't limit yourself to area code 650 or maybe 415, 408. You got to have yourself international. That's one of the reasons why Worldwide became one of my things, because the system that I have, that I have in my vision, is bigger and beyond myself.
Beyond the San Mateo County, Santa Clara County, Bay Area. Yeah, it's worldwide.
So a lot of the laws I have are principles from upstairs, the divine laws, natural laws. But I say it in my own original way because nobody wants to be preached on. Nobody even is in a religion a lot. But principles never lie. They're like, okay, it's, you know, if this thing drops, right, it's gonna hit the ground. That's a law. That's a rule. I just say it in a different way, in how I teach supplements and nutrition, and with life, you know. So I just do it in my own creative ways. That's why creative. But finishing off with Nico is, he's proof that over the years of learning, wisdom, right? There's knowledge you learn from textbooks. There's a lot of those people. Wisdom is everything. Knowledge is the ultimate power, but you got to utilize it. I think we talked about this, because knowledge, apply it. Oh, that's how it feels. That's why transformations, like what you're going through with Nico right now, 12-week transformations, if you've never done it before and you're like, are you sure I'm going to be like looking like this? I never see my chest and abs ever. And they say myself, what I told Nico, I'm like, bro, you're going to be on that stage like jacked, because I see it for him. I'm his vision. I'm his eyes of the future, where he's seeing through his sight of today. That's what we need to instill in this community. There is so many people here with talent and great aspirations, but they only see with their sight. They only see what today can bring them. They don't put their thinking as what is the future, but make sure it's always for the people. That's how you influence. And I rub that with all my employees, my friends. It becomes you, who you are. It's a conviction that I have that if I don't squeeze everything I have today, because tomorrow's never guaranteed. And if you're the last person I see, I want to make sure I take advantage of it. And that's just the mentality. So I look for the future with what I have in here, but today is like I'm sprinting. I'm that lion that I'm chasing. I wake up, I'm going to eat. I'm going to chase, but it's not against the competition. It's about this. It's about you versus you. Always, forever. Bring the 1% better for tomorrow. Bottom line. If you can springboard somebody's belief and like, you know what, that's all I needed to hear today, and they're doing their thing and they come back, Gerardo, hey, thank you for saying that to me. I swear to God, that's the wealth that I want to put in my back pocket every single day. You see me, I'm a very humble. I don't buy anything. I'm not into material at all, because money doesn't move me. What moves me is this conviction I have is changing people. I'm building people. You build people for the next generation. You leave humanity in a better place. And then these people that understand, like what you're going to be doing as a profession, educating, you need to provide information and knowledge to the young cats on what got us here today. Because if you look around, let's say, for example, on the news, there's kids stealing, jacking people, spray painting walls. Yeah. They're good kids, but they're naive, they're ignorant, they don't have the information. They don't know there was blood spewed to earn the right to have what they have. Yeah. There are people killed. They don't know that. They don't know the history of their fellow ancestors, what they had to do to provide.
To give them that right to do that.
And here they are.
That liberty to do
jacking
that.
People. They're just lost.
Even though that's not right, but they have that freedom.
Yeah.
Because
and that's the whole idea. If I can help, you're in a position to influence classrooms because you're going to be a teacher.
I hope so, because I see myself more going beyond that. Well, not to interject, but I just see that too.
This is the cool stuff about technology today. People who have the ability to have a podcast or whatever. I mean, the phone is the most powerful tool if you use it right. You look at the presidents today. There's nothing wrong with Trump doing what he was doing. There's nothing with. I love President Bukele, El Salvador. He's using the microphone to get the attention, whereas before you have to get a press conference and say something. But now you can just get on any time. But if you use your words correctly, you go where the trend in marketing, where all the attention's at.
Yeah.
Okay. My point is, and I'll move on to the next.
No,
I'm rambling.
you're good.
The idea, the spirit, you kind of follow me, is this culture that I have. I have this conviction and passion that this system that I have with that what I built can be used anywhere else in the world today. And just because we're, on different continents and different countries, people still have the spirit of winning, right? Just betterment of selves, right? Prosperity and whatnot, and giving back and helping others. We all have it, human beings. It's just we just have to have the right people with influence to kind of do it. So I don't care if I'm a supplement store, I don't care if you're an actor, a politician, or a parent for that matter. They just need to have the same language.
Someone who's
right.
Someone who they look, in terms of philosophy, you kind of try to say that as a moral agent, or someone who you look up to. I know my ancient professor is going to kill me right now, but someone you look up to who will help cultivate you and help you develop those morals and also influence your character. So
my job is like, if they're not getting the education on what's right and what's wrong at home, let me be the guy, ride my coattails, and let me show you what's right and wrong in humanity. Men especially, I'm just speaking on behalf of men as they grow older, sometimes they just don't figure out why they're even born and alive. What am I supposed to do? The purpose, right? What's your why? I don't know. 2021 is what's your why, but purpose, right? And they just spin, the circle of life, round and round. I'm working hard. I'm doing good. My intent is always good, but I'm always feeling like I'm not moving. I'm not growing, right? Okay. So my job is to kind of like, hey, let me just go ahead and polish up what your morals, values, and beliefs. And like I said, if I can be that role model where they just watch, be like, oh, I was doing it a little bit wrong, but you know what? He kind of polished it up.
Yeah, because
that's it.
Because here's the thing about it: if you step into a thought experiment, right? Well, not even thought, like just suppose, right? Suppose that if this is all universal, this is a thought experiment. So it's not 100, but we follow the train of thought. Let's say you are a kid who is struggling because you live with only your mother, for example. Let's say a lot of these kids come from third world country or are descendants from third world country, corruption and families issues, drama, whatnot. And a lot of them do get lost. And the one thing that I feel, and I'm going to jump in here and say, is that I feel that they will, try to release that output, and either that's going to be in a gym working out, because that's one form of therapy for most men, is working out. And I'm not saying in a gym like, oh, just like go to some sort of gym and lift weights. No, like any form of exercise, they're going to work out. That's what I'm trying to say. And when they come here, they're going to see you, and they're going to see a role model. They're going to see someone with moral character who's going to teach them or coach them. We don't have that many coaches that we need to help youth. That's what I do want to jump. I'm making a lot of jumps here, but I do want to say this, is that we don't have a lot of people like you. We don't have a lot of coaches. There's a lot of them that have potential, as you just said, but not actually doing the work. And that's because they don't have that vision. And that's what I appreciate that you just brought that up, about seeing the vision and not just with your eyes.
Yeah.
And that's one thing you also, I see you also, like, I don't know if you ever in grade school or middle school or high school, whatever school, you ever read a book called The Giver?
No.
Okay, so pretty much to sum it up in a just, it's an older man, right? And he, all the memories and the good memories, the bad memories, it's a dystopian literature. It's a dystopian city. So meaning that like they're separated from the world. And so it's like, suppose that everyone in there is happy. They don't see color. They don't know all these experiences. They removed all these experiences that make you human, but they all just live not mediocre, but just live day to day. But supposedly they're happier collectively. So Just that's most. I know I'm not doing service for the book. If you haven't read the book, go read the book. But there's a older man who has all those memories, and he has a gift, and he has like, he's the giver, because the younger generation, the one who's gonna take his memories or take his place when he passes, has to absorb all that. So he puts his hand on the kid, and the kid absorbs those memories. And the older gentleman, he sometimes decides on how the kid, if he's ready or not. He'll give him a good memory, like, oh, here's the first experience of being in an ocean, or feeling the sun or something, or tasting chocolate or something,
Yeah.
And then another time, like, heartbreak. You're ready for that.
Yeah.
And he'll talk about it. And the kid will ask, what is that experience? How do I get through it? This is heartbreak. I'm teaching you about heartbreak because you need to learn from this. Not all that's good is the only thing that teaches you. Also, the dark, the bad, it's not even bad, the negative that happens in life is also a teacher and a motivator. And I see that, and I'm just trying to apply those two worlds by jumping in. I might be digressing a bit, but I see that in you as the giver. And I see that with the future generations and the past generations before you. Because I've seen that when am off the mic, we've talked about your family. We've talked about your inculcation of how your father was a professor. Your father wanted you to be the best and of what your craft was. And I see that giver, that your ancestor, your dad, flow through you, and now you flow through either Nico or all these other kids that come through your path, or used to be kids, now adults, and now younger kids coming in. And so I just see the chain.
Yeah.
And I see the vision.
Yeah.
And I see you, completely honest, if we're gonna like podcasting here, just going with the flow, I see you more of not just beyond this store, but also giving speeches, motivational speeches, teaching other coaches, other business owners how to be human in respect to their employees, with respect to their clients, with respect to each other in businesses. Because we're forgetting that, especially here in the Silicon Valley. A lot of us, it is a joke, and if you're not from Silicon Valley, there is like it's like a common knowledge that everyone knows that, like, if you're like an engineer, and I'm not an engineer, but this is a misconception probably, but what we've known is that, like, okay, if you're most likely an engineer, you're most likely socially awkward, in the sense that, like, you don't know how to communicate with each other. You're so ingrained into, like, being in front of a computer, doing code, replying to emails, that, like, you don't know how to just sit here, like even at a podcast, for example, and talk. And I've had that experience. I can say that I'm not saying my experience is universal, that everyone's going through it, but I know that there's enough people who can relate with this. Is that you've ever had a friend, even now, like you try to invite a friend to go out, and they send you a Google invite to hang out, to remind them, because they're so stacked and they're so analytical. And so, there's nothing wrong with that, but my emphasis on bringing that into light is because I wanted to show that we are forgetting to be human. And if there's one place in the world where we're seeing that more strongly, and this is my belief, I'm going to say this right now, I'm going to jump in here, is that this is the Silicon Valley. This is the core network of the matrix, as some of those woke hippies like to call it, or whatnot. This is where all of this blew up, the boom tech industry. And so as humans who were born and raised in the Bay Area, we have seen this happen. And if there's anyone who can learn from this, as a business owner, as a student, as a kid, as a human, there's a lot to say on that. And I see that, how you're able to adapt and talk to even people, no matter what profession, no matter what mentality they have, no matter what political view they have, no matter what X, Y, and Z past that they've had, you're able to relate with them and show them their dream by giving them the vision.
Yeah.
Like the giver.
Yeah.
So
It's not.
I know I sidetracked a lot, and I'm gonna
Oh
do
no,
that a lot.
I'll wrap it. I'll wrap it.
Oh no, I sidetrack a lot, and I like to just if something comes into my mind, I don't like to I want to let it out. You know, it's like it's eating me inside, Jay. It's like I just gotta tell you, man. It's like
I love your quality of questions. No, don't get me wrong. And as being a listener, I'm trying to remember all the bullet points.
But overall, I do want to thank you. I want to thank you for opening up about JWorldwide, about the store. I don't know if there's anything else you want to say for our people back home or anything.
Like last words or anything like that?
Yeah.
Well, first of all, Gerardo, you're coming in your own, and this first podcast. Is this a podcast or a video? I don't even know.
This is the
I'm
first
naive.
podcast,
See, but the spirit is I already see the vision already. And I'm already giving you just keep practicing, keep doing, and always remember it's always for the people in the community first and not you. So if that spirit is there, you're already on your way to success. And I just want to say, my parents were a great influence. I'm going to wrap it up. My parents were a great influence, and I do have a higher motivational power to kind of fulfill what my, speaking about history, what my father came, from. I'm Filipino. He came here with nothing, and he gave me, a life, a very privileged life, as opposed to where he grew up with poverty and whatnot. And so I understood that. I obviously I understand that now, but I understood that growing up, hey, you got to work. And just, don't be entitled to, what you have. Somebody, my father, came with nothing and provided me this. So you have to do your own thing in your generation and help those that may not have the privileged life and give them the opportunity, give them maybe the right thinking, or or just education. And you can't put a monetary dollar on that. My mom, I got the kindness and the friendship because she was a registered nurse, and being hospitable and servicing to the patients, I bring and instill that to my customers. So kindness and care, and making sure they're taken care of, and then my dad being a professor, educating. I mean, it was all wrapped up. So I was influenced in an early age, but I'm just now kind of coming to my own, where I can develop my own originality and do it in my own special way. I have that system, in the works, pretty strong, where I'm trying to pass it on to you and blow it up to the universe and say, hey, anybody else that needs a little bit of guidance or maybe learning how to start a business or whatnot, the principles still apply in any business, where it's marriage, whether it's starting your own physical business, whether it's just this business, remember? The principles will still apply. And again, I'm always accessible to teach, and hopefully we could do more of this, and I'll express more of the principles and values and everything to get you going. So I would want to say what you're doing, and the idea and the spirit of why I wanted to do this, is because over the years I've met thousands of people with phenomenal stories that inspired myself. And remember, let's always remember, I didn't get here just like that. It was a cultivation of all the stories we were just talking about that I heard that inspired me, and I'm like, wow. And then so it was all the people that I learned throughout staying here at the store and in the previous employments I had that birthed what I am today. And again, I'm just barely starting. So what the man provided me, the people who came into my life, I'm now being much more observant and learning. Like you taught me a lot, and it's not fair for me to withhold. And one of the reasons, gee, get that podcast going, because you have a lot of stories too. Stories is what sells. Stories is what tells people about morals, values, and beliefs and principles. I can tell you 10 rules on how to live right, but ain't nobody gonna really pay attention and listen. They'll forget. But if the stories that kids like you like to listen to have principles within, podcasts to adults or videos that I like to do, there is always a hidden message I put in there, whether you see it or not. But now that people will, if they watch this, they're going to be a little bit more perceptive, which is great. But there's always a hidden message that moving forward, I put thought into it, and it's my own original way. So I just want to say, yes, I'm going to move on. I'm building the infrastructure. You're going to take over along with whoever else there. I'm getting all the industry people that are the movers and shakers, San Mateo. And then when I leave, San Mateo's culture will change. That's my dream. Where I leave, there's no crime. Everybody's doing their own creative thing, entrepreneurship, whatever you want to do. There's no divorce because everybody's too busy winning. Because when you're bored and you're lost, that's when you do corrupt stuff. Needs to stop.
True.
So I'm not going to leave until I feel, hey, I got enough of my disciples to be like, hey, keep this thing going. I want this San Mateo Sports Nutrition to be the beacon, right? Every single day, there's always energy vibes coming out of here, whether it's on vibes from the podcast, from video, from downstairs. There's always going to be a beacon where people can go to as a resource to say, hey, I want to go check it out. Get uplifted, get motivated, get influenced. Yeah. But the thing is, I want to be that guy to open up that cage, and you're going to be that guy to open up the cage and let potential out for people. That's your superpower. And everybody has that superpower capacity. It's just change your thinking. That's it.
Oof. Gratitude. I am simply just overwhelmed right now. Thank you for that. All right, Jay, where can people find you? Where can they come to the shop? Let them know all the good stuff, socials, all that. Where they can follow you, where they can find you. This is the Spiritual Philosopher. I'll start posting more things coming up. I got a lot of things planned up. This for sure will not be our first, and this is our first but not our last. You'll see Jay on here multiple times, probably more than you'll see me, but other than that,
where can they find me?
Yeah, where can they find you?
I'm not hard to find. I'm always obviously here at the store, 115 East 4th Avenue, San Mateo Sports Nutrition. Physically, you can see me in the flesh. San Mateo, for Instagram, San Mateo with the Sports Nutrition with a little squiggly line in the middle. And Facebook, San Mateo Sports Nutrition. Clubhouse, I'm on there. I have a TikTok. I don't use it. YouTube I have, but just Instagram, Facebook is where you can find me most definitely. But physically in the flesh, that's where I really do my job. And I have some things going, my own podcast coming up in a couple. I'm going to wait until all you guys are taken care of until I do my own podcast. And it's going to be in the spirit of building businesses, whether it's a business, marriage, but mainly this, right? And of course, I got to talk about supplements and sports nutrition.
Nice. And you also ship nationally, right?
Nationally for now, but hey, like I said, the vision of mine is to go
worldwide, baby.
So I'm working on that. But I just want to say thank you, Gerardo, for the invite. We just popped the cherry on this bad boy, huh? Yeah. And if this is just the birth of something great coming up, which I know it'll come, I just want to be, hey, thank you for letting me be the first, because let's always remember, everybody remembers their first, right? Thank you. And that's the story. I'm always going to be forever blessed to be in whenever you blow up and do your own thing. It's the history's already written.
But couldn't say even better. All right, everybody. You guys have a great day. Be nice to each other. Love each other. Amor y paz. Peace.
Peace. God's plan, baby. Woo.